Good morning, and welcome to NFThesis. I'm Anthony Shepard. Let's talk some NFTs. So we got into NFTs and DAOs, which took me down a big, deep rabbit hole talking about SOS and the Open DAO. Looks rare. I also mentioned Gas DAO. I also realized that there's another gas-based DAO called WTF that is based on the same thing, the amount of gas fees you had paid. Not going to deep dive into those things again, but I am going to pick back up with NFTs and DAOs. There were a few things I didn't really get it. I'm sure there's a million things I didn't get into, but there's a few more things I'd like to touch on just briefly. I'm not going to let this be a long episode again. So I did say that NFTs aren't really DAOs because they centralize around an artist or a product, but that doesn't mean that they can't be, because if you think about it, a lot of these DAOs center around a product. That product just happens to be a blockchain protocol, typically in the decentralized finance category. But having an art project or a film, or especially when you talk about things like film, you're talking about a huge production that allows for a lot of surface area for ownership. And there are a lot of people involved in making a film. So having things like multi-sig wallets be associated with an NFT project or with some kind of a drop is kind of a DAO, because when you have a multi-signature wallet, you cannot make any transactions without having a majority of people sign off on a transaction. So it makes it to where it is very much community decisions in order to get money spent, and that doesn't necessarily, still doesn't make it a DAO, because those, multi-sig people could all be very close friends. And I think it does still open up this category of being able to say, in the past, if you create a project with multiple people, you are very much trusting someone to pay you. You are trusting someone to control the funds appropriately. Typically, this is not done in a very transparent way. Producers and whoever runs the money on a project aren't necessarily beholden to the people who work on the project as much as the people who gave money. In a creator economy where what we have to offer is our skill and our labor and the things that we're able to do, then it makes it that much more important to make sure that your name is on the wallet, that your name is on the money somewhere, and that you are in control of decisions of what happens with assets regarding a project that you are essentially working on for the promise of later pay or investment. Having a multi-sig wallet on a project allows multiple people to be involved, to make sure they know where the money's going. Another really cool thing you can do is, say you have an NFT project, maybe it's a film or an album. Let's just say, for simplicity, let's say it's a band, and you put your 5 band members on a multi-sig to mint these NFTs. And that means that all sales would go back to this multi-sig wallet, and now no money can be taken out without agreement from the 5 members of the band. You could also make this more of a community-driven initiative by having a separate wallet, another multi-sig, in which the community is in charge of that multi-sig. Maybe the top 5 people for that band's fan base, or whatever it may be. And you have the royalties from the NFT go to that community wallet. So this provides a safety net for the community to say, hey, every secondary sale that happens here goes back to the community, not the band. This is just an idea. I'm not saying that it's necessarily something people should be doing. And there's any number of ways that even that could look different. For instance, you could have all the royalties go back to the band and have some kind of community initiatives in which the band is putting money into the community wallet, although that gets more into, that would be giving more power to the artist and less to the community. NFTs and blockchain and multi-sig wallets and all of these different forms of technology allow different methods of setting up a business plan around an art project, a band, a protocol, even a show. With the use of a multi-sig wallet, for instance, if you're a solo artist and you like to work with other artists, then a way to do that would be to have a multi-sig per project, and then an album or a project or a film or whatever it might be, everyone associated with that thing is tied into this certain wallet. And that makes that multi-sig wallet almost its own DAO, because every signer on that wallet now becomes part of a board in which you have to make decisions together. And that is, for as long as that project is on the blockchain, for as long as there's transactions happening on that project, you are tied together as board members to decide what happens with those funds. Really cool unlocks as well when you think about all these things regarding DeFi. As money Legos regarding an NFT project, you can really stack some really cool projects where you have money that's coming into a wallet that then goes into some kind of a yield farm, and that can produce funds that are able to be used for future projects or able to compensate the crowd in some way, or just to make more community initiatives. I mean, it could be used, you could use royalties to fund a new merchandise project, and then that merchandise can be resold as an NFT claim. Or let's go back the other direction, where you're just providing value to your fan base. You can do this in a way where if you are yield farming properly, you should be able to farm enough yield to give your fans a free piece of merchandise based on what they've already put in, and what you're able to stack it into something more substantial. And that's really cool for any business model when you think about being able to stack money Legos and say, all right, well, we as a community are going to put in our work and our labor and our artistic abilities, and in exchange, we're not just going to take the capital we can make right now, but we're going to reinvest that capital into future endeavors and make this community stronger by not just immediately cashing out of every project, but by stacking that money into a larger empire, or whatever you want to call it. You can make a better business based on what you do with your money. And I mean, this is what major corporations are doing anyway. When they reinvest, banks don't sit on your cash, they reinvest it. So if you think about every business as an opportunity to take those profits and reinvest them instead of immediately cashing out everything, then you really open up a sustainability factor in artistic projects that didn't previously exist. And that sustainability can be spread across your entire community as well as your future projects. And this snowball effect will give you I mean, exactly that. It will be a momentous effect that will cause more and more people to get involved, knowing that there's value here to be made. So that was just my short, keeping it short and sweet spiel on how NFTs and DAOs function together. Of course, any DAO and many DAOs are able to make extra money by selling NFT projects in their community. Like Bankless DAO has the rug, and various writers are releasing on Mirror. We also do, I believe, like a weekly NFT drop of a community artist. There have also been huge NFT projects to spin out of Bankless DAO, like the DAO Punks. And DAOs and NFTs are really tied together, and I believe a lot of NFT projects will grow into DAOs, and a lot of really cool projects will begin as DAOs. And I'm really excited to see, between NFTs, DAOs, and DeFi, and stacking these projects and putting things in the correct order and doing things as a community, and how that can actually change the face of art and business and the creator economy, and hopefully make it a more equitable and fair world for artists going forward and all workers. I think that's one of the most important things about the DAO space is the social unlocks. What we're doing as far as being able to truly capitalize on people's work and people's efforts and pay them appropriately and take care of them appropriately and have everyone feel like their opinion is valid and their work is valid and they're happy to provide because the community they're providing for cares about them. So thank you for joining me for another episode of NFThesis, and good morning.